Welcome back, OSLP family. Welcome.
You are listening to our Sleep Life podcast, and this is Kelly.
This is Mel.
And we have another episode of the Lisa Lampanelli Chronicles. So welcome, Lisa, back onto the show.
Woo-hoo.
Yay! You're welcome, you guys. Parker's here for 2 seconds to say hi.
Oh,
There he is.
he's so cute. I just want to love on him.
How old is he?
He's probably 12, and I had threatened him if he wasn't better as a human being, well, a doggy being, I was going to make him get the sleeve. You cannot make me look bad by walking around looking this disheveled. The other one, Peggy, is like asleep across the room and can't be bothered with me. It's like, okay, all right, girl, you do whatever you want.
You do you, boo.
Yep. I love it.
So today we're going to talk about, this is a subject that I have been wanting to talk about. I say that all the time, but this is like one that I've been like, since the beginning, I'm like, we need to talk about diet culture because it is so prevalent in our society.
Yeah, it's in our faces all day long.
24/7. And Mel found kind of a cool thing of when it actually started.
Yeah, there's...
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because like I found a couple things, but like the earliest that they've seen so far was with a businessman from the 1900s. He got overweight and he started. It's called a chewing diet.
A chewing diet.
Yeah. So it was labeled as a chewing diet because he would chew up the food into like almost to like liquid and then swallow his food.
That's crazy. Can I tell you, I'm pretty much happy to hear that a man suffered from this. I'm sorry, listeners. You know I love me some men,
right?
And everything in between, but I just had to say it. But isn't it funny that I thought, you know what I thought you were going to say he would do was spit it out. Because that's the real trick. When I was in food rehab, it was me, I've talked about this, and mostly anorexics and bulimics. And there was a whole sheet of rules, which you couldn't do.
Oh.
And one of those is no chewing food and spitting it out. And I've heard people say things like, oh my God, I just want the flavor, so I'm going to spit it out. And I'm like, wow, that's more self-control than I have, first of all. But I'm like, it's a real thing. It's a real eating disordered behavior, like so many other things.
It's actually, I did that month 3 after surgery, and I've never done that in my life, and it scared the shit out of me. Because I was like, my husband left, and they had pizza with stuffed crust, and I could just
like,
oh man, I love me some stuffed crust, and I could smell it from the kitchen, and I was trying to avoid it for like almost an hour, and then I went and grabbed it, chewed up real quick, and then I'm like, I can't swallow this. I have a like announced tummy. What the hell? So like I spit it out, and then I did it again, and I kept doing it and then all of a sudden I hear Eric and his friends coming, and I'm like, oh shit. So I put it in my hand, and I just put everything in the side of me and just wait for them to like leave the room, and then I go throw everything away. And then I didn't tell anybody about that for like
till the podcast,
almost to the podcast. Yeah. No, I told Eric about it, but it was like a year afterwards. Like it was not.
That's very brave for you to admit it, because that's a real legit thing that I'm sure a lot of people out there are doing or have done. And I think it helps people feel less alone and freakish, you know? Because freakish in quotes, we all think what we do is so odd. I must be the only one.
Right.
And you know, first of all, like I have a friend who just got the surgery about 6 months ago. Looks fantastic. And he admitted, and I think it's because he's millennial, he admitted, oh my God, 3 months in after I was using laxatives. So, and I was like, that is, and stopped, of course. And he's like, I was like, dude, you're so brave to just admit that.
Yeah.
So I think we all just have to admit we've all done all these crazy things.
Yeah.
You know, and is it good? Is it bad? No, but we learn from it and hopefully stop and move on from it. Just like we've had all done every single diet there was available out there before we started this sleeved situation.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And there's still so many out there that I see every day. There's new stuff that pops up about diets. And, you know, I love the programs where they include everything, like the exercise and the diet. And, you know, I hate the word diet, but it really, I mean, because it can mean two things. It could be what you're eating. Right. Like your diet, or it can be a diet where you're actually like trying to lose weight.
Well, and I think that's actually the problem with diet culture is that it kind of spent those two together to make people feel like that it's totally fine, but it's not fine.
No,
it's just a way of eating. That's just like, this is just what I eat now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when I took a course at Kripalu, which is this yoga and meditation place in the Berkshire Mountains in Massachusetts, they had said like the 4 pillars of good health are nutrition. So they didn't say the word diet because it's so emotionally charged for everybody. Exercise, sleep, and spirituality. And it's like, oh, okay. So I love, by the way, throwing sleep in there because everybody thinks sleep can be shortchanged. And honestly, if I get less than 8 hours, especially at this age, I'm 60, I'm like, I'm a mess. I'll try to do 5 or 6, but it just doesn't work out for anyone else around me because I have that attitude, you know?
Oh yeah. I'm an asshole if I don't get like at least 7.
Yeah.
Or if someone wakes me up, I'm like, what the fuck?
I can't. No, you can just wait.
Yep. Yeah. My little sister, the one that I was talking about before, she was sick. And so she was staying at my house and my mom was helping her with my nephew. And I got woken up at 3 a.m. by a screaming baby. And I was like,
that's rough.
There is a reason why I don't have children. And one of them is I'm selfish and I want my sleep. So,
and again, the word selfish gets a bad reputation when selfish is actually quite a good quality in someone because it helps you have boundaries. What's interesting is I don't have kids. I am woken up probably twice a night by my dog who will, Peggy again, she just sits there and is like, I hate everybody. Parker has to get on that bed and uses those doggy steps, but he's old, so he sighs. It's like having an old man next to you, and then he's like, just like, well, it's funny with dogs who you love, you can put up with it. You have no problem with it, or I'm sure babies, even if you love that baby. But I don't think I loved any kid enough to put up with being woken up at 3. But when you talk about diet culture, it's so interesting because what I really hate is the stealthy way diet culture works its way into everything. So, you know, the whole thing about Noom, we're not a diet. Yes, you are. Anytime you're keeping track and restricting because of an artificial result that may come someday and that you're not listening to just your body, that's a diet, basically. You're doing something to change who you are. And the gastric sleeve definitely changes who you are. It's just not, if you pay attention to where you are when you lose the weight from the sleep, it gets to the right point without wrestling yourself into a diet, wrestling yourself into a body you shouldn't be in. If it takes too much effort to keep it a size, you're not supposed to be that size. So I think that's where diet culture F's with us constantly. Yeah, because I mean, I had lost 107 pounds originally on the sleeve. And I knew it was too much. I just knew. I was like, there is no way someone my height can keep to this weight. And I didn't panic. And it made it to where it was supposed to be. And even now, gaining 7 pounds in COVID and not being able to get rid of it, I'm like, well, I guess that's where I'm supposed to be now.
Yeah.
Am I excited? No. Am I getting towards acceptance? Yeah, because you can't wrestle yourself into a lower height. You certainly can't wrestle yourself into a lower weight if that's where your body's supposed to land.
Yeah, because I know with weight loss surgery, that first year you usually get down really low. Like I was at 141.
Yeah, you were tiny.
I was tiny. And then you kind of go back up, and my surgeon was like, don't be alarmed if you gain 10 or 15 pounds because you're supposed to. Your body's not meant to maintain that lowest weight. You know, it's just not. And some people can. Some people can totally do it. But she said the majority of people, you will get down to your lowest, you will gain 10 to 15 pounds, and then you kind of stay steady right there.
Well, I wish.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I think what's funny is I talked to a Health at Every Size nutritionist last year, and she's like, you know, you stayed within like 10 pounds of that original loss for about 10 years. So I think you're freaking out over nothing. Like, meaning like you kind of don't have to stress so much about this thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's still a struggle every day. Food's always a struggle, but you go, well, at least I'm not still wrapped up in trying Weight Watchers 50 times. I mean, one of my first jokes ever, literally from my first routine ever. We watched it the other day on VHS because my guys on my podcast wanted to see what it was like back then for me to do comedy. I literally talked about Weight Watchers, and I said I lost 85 pounds on Weight Watchers 3 times because literally the model is set up, not just Weight Watchers. I'm not just singling them out, but they're all evil. Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, because they want you to come back.
Right.
I get it. They're freaking smart, man. But how many people can you name who have lost weight on a diet and kept it off? Literally, I don't know anyone.
I don't know anybody.
No, I mean, the only way is through surgery.
Yep.
Or if you're very dedicated to your exercise and food program.
Yeah, if something like clicked, like something, because I think that's what I needed was like a restart button. I talk about it all the time because like I've been big my whole life as a little kid and adolescent. So like I just like I know how to eat now. I have all the tools. I totally get out of portion stuff now. I know that I should not be having 2 cups of rice with my food. There's no need for that. And now that I have the tools, I'm like I just need the surgery so I can have that reset because now I can use all the things I've learned with the tool, and now I can actually like maintain because I've maintained for the last 4 years. Like I'm 6 years out. The first 2 years I dropped, and I wish I would have listened to. I know that Dr. Patterson told me this, but I didn't listen. I know she said the 10-pound thing, 10 to 15 pound, but I totally didn't hear that. I was like, nope, I'm gonna get to the lowest and I'm gonna stay there. And no, I gained the 10 pounds, and I remember being nervous about it, but now I'm like, no, that's normal.
It's completely normal.
Completely normal, and I've been at that weight this whole time, so it's fine. It's like,
well, it's where, see, I wish I had the mental and emotional click before I had the surgery, but I don't think I obviously can't do it over, but I don't remember really. I mean, I definitely was like, I just need to put the brakes on being able to eat volume. Like it just has to happen.
Yeah.
So I think the deprivation of all those years from age 18 to 50 on diets, that's 32 years of up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
From every diet and exercise plan there could have been. And I'm like, oh, that's my landline. That's how old I am. So
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Like some awful person campaigning for office.
I love it. I haven't heard of like an old school phone in so long.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and they're crazy. They leave messages. I'm like, who do you think lives here? It's pretty insane that, like, oh my God, wait. Oh, it's a courtesy call to renew a vehicle, by the way, that we've never owned. No one in the family has owned this car. I get so much spam, not only on landline, but also my American line. I'm like, God, I'm going to just answer and talk to these people someday, because if I have nothing to do, I might as well talk to some bitch.
It's true. Anyway, it's true.
Some bitch.
Yeah, some bitch. I used to literally remember my mother, and talk about diet culture. They would have the cabbage soup diet. Which, by the way, that was so much fun to live in a house with someone on cabbage soup only.
That had a smell so bad.
Make for a healthy digestive process. Then there was, of course, just always her having to eat cottage cheese with some kind of fruit. There was just all this, like, to where it got so extreme. I mean, my mother, I remember seeing pictures of her in her wedding dress, and she thought she was fat. And literally, if I showed them to you, you'd be like, she's like a perfect size, whatever. It's not what anyone would consider overweight. And I'm like, it's so sad that in the 60s and 70s, when all these diets really started becoming popular, that she got sucked into all that grapefruits and all that. I mean, I think it was 7 grapefruits a day. I mean, all this crazy stuff. And luckily she wasn't where she was in some insane occupation like these poor women who are in ballet who do things like the cotton ball diet, which is literally cotton balls soaked in orange juice or water just to fill your stomach and give you the feeling of fullness and then not gain weight. And it's like, wow, these are all such eating disorder diet. Like if you Google diet culture, it's hilarious because it's stuff like the werewolf diet. You only eat during a full moon. I mean, literally. Yeah. Like that's the thing.
I did. I Googled it last night and there was some weird shit that popped up.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of this is so damaging internally and just your self-esteem, and you just hate yourself. And I'm like, man, I certainly do not eat perfectly now at all.
No.
I definitely have at least one meal a day that is not cute.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love that. Well, it's not cute.
It's not cute. It's not like pretty much my surgeon will look at it and go, that's way too much, whatever. But you go, you know what? I deprive myself for so many years. I kind of have to eat like a normal human as far as types of food without obviously the quantity, because we can't anymore. But diet culture's everywhere. And I think where it annoys me most right now, because they've all gotten so stealthy, is that diet culture is now disguised as wellness. Yeah. And so every time we go into a Whole Foods for some half-cocked BS supplement or, some sort of like fancy schmancy wellness product, it's really just putting you on a diet.
It really is.
Putting you on a diet. It's like anytime you're restricting, you're going to have a binge. If I didn't eat carbs for 2 weeks, it would be carbs only the following week.
Right.
Even though I have the sleeve. So I don't deprive myself of anything. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the only way I can live. I don't know about anybody else, but after being in diet culture for 50 years, that's kind of how I had to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I restricted myself a lot during the first year after having surgery. And I kind of went a little crazy this last 6 months, I would say.
Because you flipped it. You went from being so restrictive to not restrictive at all.
Yeah. So it's like you have to find your balance, and you have to incorporate all foods, but you have to find a balance of taking those, not so great foods and then the really good foods for you and mashing it together. So you get a little bit of everything. So you're not going to go crazy.
Well, in that food rehab place, they really drummed into us. And I absolutely believe this is true. There's no such thing as bad food. So I try not to say good and bad food because it's all good. It's all fine. Or it's not good or bad. It's just food. It's like air. We need air. So you can't be addicted to air. We need food. We can't be addicted to food. We could have an emotional attachment to it. But it's like, well, an addict behavior is sort of me eating way too much volume and then throwing up, or me, chewing the food, then spitting it out, or whatever it is. Yeah. Because it's become out of my control and uncontrollable. But to go, you know what, I'm having pasta for dinner and I ate 70 grams of protein throughout the day, so fuck the world. Why not? Yeah. Like, I just feel like I would go off the deep end the other way. So again, every day's hard. Every day's going to be a challenge, but oh well, I guess this is our cross to bear, and it's a better one than a lot of people have.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I mean, we signed up for this. Yeah. We wanted to do surgery, and I mean, I don't think anybody realizes how hard it is after.
No, because they're assholes and they say it's easy way. It's the easy way out.
It's the easy way out.
Oh, well, I used to have a really funny rant during my play. I wrote a play called Stuffed that was about my food and weight loss journey and all that stuff. And I said, at the end, I was like, oh, it's the easy way. You want to hear what the easy way is like? For the first 2 weeks after surgery, all you could have is clear liquids. That's water, broth, and Gatorade. Not even fun clear liquids. No vodka, no gin, no nothing. And so, I'm like, Gandhi couldn't stick to this fucking diet. Then after the surgery, my esophagus is so screwed up, even liquid yogurt won't go down. So I have to sit on the can and try to squeeze out, go into the bathroom, a number 2, and I'm grabbing onto those bars like it's like I'm going to the electric chair. So basically, you go, and even after that, then all those things that aren't easy, you can't go to the bathroom. You have to have these clear liquids. And even when you can't eat now, it has to be so small and your hair falls out. And you're, and literally my hair, when I would look in the for that first year after surgery, I would look at my hair would be in clumps. So it looked like in the shower, like Mitch McConnell's nutsack. And I'm like, you know what? There's no way this is easy. So hopefully the audience really figured out that, oh, this is a big commitment. It's not easy. And it's a real pain in the ass. And even today, 11 years later, I'm walking down the hall and I'm like, oh man, I wish I never got this surgery. I wish I never got it. I want to eat volume. I wish I never got it. And of course it's fleeting.
Right.
But you have to allow those thoughts and feelings to come in, because I'd just be on another round of diets with up, down, up, down. And that's where the whole you're not good enough, you don't look good enough diet culture comes in.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel that every day, because you still go on to, you watch TV shows or websites or whatever, and there's these, perfect, I'm using quotation marks because they're not perfect, but you see these perfect bodies, these perfect people. And that's what diet culture is like striving for. They want you to see that because they want you to join their program, and you want, buy their materials. And
they want you to want that. Like, remember, like the 90s, I believe all the way up until the mid 2000s, everything was airbrushed. So everything was airbrushed, everything was shaped. Like, that's the whole thing with diet culture actually is about, like, the imagery that we're seeing all the time. And how, like, even with the filters now, like where there was a poll that I read that took that 90% of people say that every time they send a photo or post a photo, it has been altered in some sort of way.
I would agree with that.
So, and like, that's a lot. And that's even men too. That was the poll was for men and women. And we all do it because we all want to show a different, like, of what we think we should be looking like.
We want to be perfect in some type of way.
Yeah.
You don't want to show your bad skin or your bad hair. Yeah. If flaws are scary.
I don't remember ever editing a photo of mine, and I'll tell you why. It's a different thing. Where it's on a podcast last week, I was talking about how I got my surgery from the neck down. I got the sleeve. So I'm never going to do anything above the neck. I don't want to get Botox. I think it's because I found my face. I've had my face forever. It's easily accepted because I go, I'm never going to win any beauty contests, but I'm fine. But also I know how to put on makeup. And I think, and people could say, well, you still alter yourself because you put on makeup. And I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. But that's my line. My line is makeup is good. Face tuning to me is bad for me. And I'd have to remember how I put in my cheekbones at some point, and my lips and everything. So I just leave myself as is. But I'm shocked I don't do that. And part of it, I think, is because I just accept who the F I am from the neck up.
Yep.
But I kind of just don't think I would be good at it. And I'd look like a Picasso or a Van Gogh or something. I'd look horrible.
You're like,
so might as well just leave it alone. But it is interesting when I look at friends who do that. I know it's judgy, but I do lose a little respect for them.
Yeah.
I go, that's not your face from yesterday. What just happened, girl?
Yeah.
I don't know. Very interesting what line we can each draw. But again, thank goodness we're all have free will. We answer to no one but ourselves. And if we can sort of look in the mirror at the end of the day and go, well, this is kind of what I'm into now, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, and it's super interesting because, like, I remember when me and Kel first started the show, like, we all, my biggest filter is actually just like a color filter. I just like it looking more vibrant. And I didn't even know you could take in your faces and like arms. I had no idea that was a thing until Kelly was showing me, like, no, like you could do that. Like, here's all the things.
Yeah,
like,
you can
shit.
Tuck your little flabbies in, and you can,
crazy.
I used to do it before when I was.
Of course.
Yeah. I would use because they have an automatic face slimmer. So you so you just slide the bar and it like tucks everything in. But my double chin was too big. So half the time it didn't work.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so funny, by the way. It's like we are trying our best and even the filters don't work.
Even the filters hate me.
By the way, I don't even know how to do filters other than the funny, stupid ones. And I mean, also, I'm a comedian too. Like was a comedian. I'm just kind of allowed to be funny looking. Because I said with comedy, I've always said this to comics. I go, in comedy, you're allowed to be pretty.
Yep.
You're allowed to be ugly. It just can't be hard to look at. If you're sweaty and making us uncomfortable, or if you have a big freaking problem with your face and you're not talking about it, like you have to address who you are.
You do.
Yeah. So I think I just accepted, like, it is what it is.
As entertainment, you kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
Just entertainment, period. You have to accept who you are and you have to address your flaws.
Well, I would say the one thing I noticed with just being now a part of the entertainment stuff, and I used to just be just a fan of it, of like realizing like, oh, like these people are really raw and real, and you have to show like your inner self or no one's going to like take you seriously.
Yep.
And, you know, you have to address the things like you're talking about. And it's just so much easier when you do. And I respect more of people that are in the entertainment world because I feel like we have to know what's going on with ourselves inside. Like we are talking to ourselves all the time and we're on it. Like no one can really pick us apart more than ourselves. I mean, really, you know, I know all the jokes that people can say just looking at me, but that's why we try to pride ourselves on like not wearing makeup. Like we go on lives with no makeup on. We do recordings like that because we're not in makeup all the time. Nope. I just started wearing makeup this year. So, I mean, like,
I had to teach her.
I had no idea
how to do makeup.
It's so funny. You used to, you know, obviously being in business for so long, if you're getting ready for a red carpet or you're getting ready for a TV show or whatever, I remember my stylist would come to my room at 4 a.m.
Wow.
When I was doing the Celebrity Apprentice, because we started taping at 8.
Okay.
And when you're over a certain age, you need a lot of makeup and just tricks and stuff. And at the time I was, you know, I had my weight still, I hadn't had the surgery yet. And red carpets, I mean, everything was a 4-hour job. And I get it. It's, you know, but also I never looked unlike myself.
No, you didn't.
But I told her years ago, I said, Andy, she's the best. I go, you have to teach me how to do my own makeup because I'm not going to pay you $1,500 a day to come to my house and do this 4-hour thing. I mean, I'm going to a party. Like it's interesting because she was so kind and was like, of course I'll teach you. Of course. Are you kidding me? And she did it. And I go, wow, just doing something for yourself that makes you feel a little bit like you're presenting to the world.
Yep.
It's great. And if that means you have to have surgery or you know, people have to have the surgery to take in, you know, the cosmetic surgery after the weight loss surgery.
Yeah.
If you feel you have to do this, then you just kind of have to look yourself in the eye and go, this is for me. Or even if you say it's for other people, at least you know it.
Yes.
Like, I don't even mind saying I would wear Spanx and all that shit for other people. It was not for me. And I guarantee if I have to do something now that's really public, I probably would do it again. It wouldn't be as tight because of the surgery, but I go, that's for other people. But I think if you can admit it, it's okay.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Just lying to ourselves is the evil part of it. And the insidious, all it does is contribute to self-hate.
Yeah.
You know?
It
That's
does.
sad to me because we don't need any more reason to hate ourselves. We've been told from the beginning of time we're not good enough and that we'll never be loved. And diet culture buys into that. You're not good the way you are. So, you know, we can at least kind of try to not do it to ourselves all the time.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I hate most about diet culture is that statement that you just made. We are not good enough as ourselves.
Yep.
And it's just because it's not just, okay, we want you to become healthy. It's we want you to look a certain way and we want you to eat certain foods and we want you to drink certain things. And it's just a negative place to be.
It is.
It's very soul sucking.
Well, 90% of consumerism and advertising, 99% is about you aren't good enough without this product, you know? And it's just like, am I good enough with my 2010 car? It's like, yeah. Like I have to go to LA next week because I'm taping one of my favorite podcasts of all time, The Minimalists. I'm so excited because like it was one of my fantasies to like tape that show and it just kind of came along and I was so lucky.
That's so cool.
So I go and go to rent a car yesterday and the guy goes, we have whatever it was, a Toyota Camry. And I mean, that's not a celebrity car, but I'm like, fuck it. I like a Toyota Camry. Let's go. And the part of me gets such a kick out of going, I'm good enough no matter what car I drive.
Yeah.
But so diet culture, Peloton, Lululemon, Mirror, exercise gyms, all this stuff, they're all telling us we're not good enough and it's how we use them. So I did get the Mirror for my house. I use it once a week. I don't do it every day. And by the way, I do the same fucking exercise every day. It's a dance thing and it's beginner level. And I literally look like a maniac doing it. I'm awful. But I love it. It gives me a funny kick out of the day because it's like music from the 40s, which I love.
Oh, that's fun.
And I'm just like, okay, so if we can use all these tools, including the gastric surgery, as stuff to make us feel better about ourselves internally, then we're going to be okay. But if I'm writing on the calendar, eat this, eat that, do mirror 5 times a week, 10,000 steps, I'm going to start hating myself because of somebody else's standards.
Yeah.
Hey, I wish I hadn't I wish I hadn't felt the need to alter my insides with the surgery. I wish that didn't happen. It's a fantasy. I felt in order to wrestle my health and self-esteem, I had to do it. And for better or worse, it's like, okay, dude, you did it and you're going to live with it.
Yeah. Because I wrestled with that too, being like, oh, I didn't want to have to like do anything like that. Like, I was like, can't I just do this on my own? But it's like, I've been trying to do this on my own. Obviously I can't.
But here's the thing is you did do it on your own.
Yeah. Like I still filled out the application. I went to all those appointments. Like I did that. So yeah, you're right. Thank you.
But also diet culture is insidious in that it makes you feel like you've let them down. You go back to by the way, Weight Watchers, you're not kidding anyone because you changed your name to WW, bitch.
So funny.
Still has weight. They're like, can you see that board meeting? We have to get the word weight out of the title. How can we fool these moronic women how to come back? Oh, WW. Yeah, no one cares. Weight Watchers really stands for Weight Watcher Gain It All Back. That's literally what's going on. So I always shit on all those programs because I've tried them all and they failed me.
There you go.
I talked to a girl a couple weeks ago. I forget who it was. And she was saying something about she's a failure because she gained weight and because her career went downhill. And I'm like, no, the diet's failed you and you have no control over fame. Like fame leaves and comes without your control. This whole industry is designed to make us fail. Show business and diet culture.
Yeah.
So the more we can say to ourselves, oh, that's a product I would have returned to the store. If a product failed 90% of the time, we wouldn't keep buying it. But we keep going on diets. And 90% of the time they fail or more. I think the percentage might be more.
Absolutely. Well, and when I was doing the research about the diet culture, the whole like good and bad is like a whole thing. Like we've been like ingrained in us since we were like kids that like there's good food and bad food. And that's like insane because there's not like all the food's good. And then the thing that also I read was like honoring the food because you have to eat. Like that's not to be embarrassed or ashamed that you have to eat. Like that's just the way of life. So it's okay. And just think about the foods that you want and honor those foods that you bring into your house or into your mouth, basically.
Yeah.
Like don't worry about it.
And if you're worried about a certain type of food, don't eat it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, but if you, so like I'm trying to find that balance, like you're talking about, like honoring the food that I'm eating, but then also allowing myself to live my life.
Yep.
And not be, you know, constant in this cycle. Cause I'll eat something and then I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. It's a really bad food. Like internally, I'm not saying it out loud, but in my head, I'm thinking this 24/7. And so honoring the food and being like, no, I splurged. I had this item. I had it. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, and just accept it.
I think the language surrounding it, it's, to me, the word splurge almost sounds like I shouldn't have.
Right.
You know? So we do that to ourselves because from childhood on, you know, we're taught that that was wrong or bad, you know? And it's just like splurging almost, it almost sounds like, oh, I can't afford to do it. Like when we splurge on, say, a $3,000 purse, could I afford that? For somebody who has all that money, great. It's never a splurge. It's fine. So somebody else, they would be like, oh my God, I could never pay my full rent on that bag.
Yeah.
So I think our language is so infiltrated with what we did wrong all the time. And I honestly hate eating out with people who shit on themselves about what they eat. And it's not triggering to me. I just feel sorry for them. And I'm just like, oh, it doesn't matter. But like we really hear it so much. And like, everybody wants to split a dessert. And I'm like, have you seen me? No, I don't split anything. You know what I mean? So every especially with women and gay men a lot too. It's just like, oh, I can't have that. Oh, I can't have that. Really? Why? And also gluten is not inherently evil.
No.
If you have celiac, great. But the cure now for any bloating seems to be cutting out things that don't even affect you anyway. And all these horribly stupid specific allergy tests and food sensitivity tests. That's not a thing. Like, that's not real science. If somebody's a naturopath, I don't think they need a degree for that. Like, that seems something that you could get online. So I know this might be unpopular and like Lisa's wrong. I'm not.
I'm just not.
No, I think a lot of it gets overblown into, making us feel again like if you have one little grain of celery root, you're going to get inflamed.
Yes.
I've never had anything inflamed except my private area, and that wasn't from eating.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. I was not expecting that.
I was not either.
Again, big respect to anyone who's struggling with it and going to every type of specialist around, hoping to find answers. It's just, people need to do a lot of research before they trust someone. That's all I'm trying to say in a more lighthearted way. Like, I personally like if somebody has MD after their name. I'm crazy that way. I really, because of my age, I like an MD sitting there.
Yeah.
Or a PA, a physician's assistant.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love physician assistants.
Nurses, love those guys. I kind of get more hesitant when some of these specialists just kind of are using wellness as disguised, diet. So that's why I'm kind of self-aware of a lot of that stuff.
Well, and just because it says gluten-free doesn't make it good for you. Or if it says skinny this, like, just because it has the word skinny on it doesn't make it
fat-free, skinny.
Yeah, it's like
any of it. It's
all the advertising and marketing were like, yeah, they will believe all of these things. Here you go.
Yep.
It's terrible. It's a way they think we're so dumb that we can't read a label,
Yep.
I mean, it says gluten-free on ice cream or on like crazy stuff that kind of like, you don't even think of, having any gluten in it. You're just like, is that really a bragger? Like, is that really something you want to brag about? Because I don't know that that's a thing.
Yep.
So it's just us doing research into a diet before we go on it. How many people have successfully lost on Weight Watchers and kept off? How many people have successfully gone on Nutrisystem and eaten food out of a box?
Yeah.
Food out of a box? Oh my God. Seriously, how good can that be? And Jenny Craig, by the way, I used to have a joke where I would say, Jenny Craig, literally, when I used to go, my counselor was still overweight. I'm like, if I'm going to trust an overweight person how to tell me to lose weight, that's like asking Harvey Weinstein to run your human resources department. You really have to research who you are trusting with your life.
Seriously.
No, it's true. I mean, and there are some really cool like nutrition companies out there now that you could, like we were talking about your smoothie one. That you love.
Daily Harvest.
Daily Harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we love Flex Pro and Berry Box. Like, it's real food.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's not designed for it to be the only source of your food for every single day. Like Nutrisystem, you had to order 3 meals. You had 2 snacks a day. Like, you had all these things and you only ate Nutrisystem.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's a great business model.
Yeah,
it's
it is
fantastic for them.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, with family, family's interesting because you have to accept them for who they are and stop advice giving because they're not going to listen to you anyway. And that's okay. Like, who thinks I know more than, who am I to think I know more than them?
Exactly.
But, my brother-in-law had weight loss surgery and he wants to, kind of get it back in check. And he's like, I'm going to do Nutrisystem for a few weeks. And I was like, great. And, of course the old Lisa would have been like, that's bullshit. You're going to gain it right back. It doesn't matter. That's bad food, whatever. And I just go, that's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
So where you have to just go, well, people will do what they want to do. After listening to this thing, hopefully they get a couple of laughs and go, if they're go to a naturopath, that's fine.
Yes.
Whatever they do is fine. The whole point of it, we make light of it, but it's to go, hey, just get an informed decision.
Yeah.
Know to yourself that, these companies might be in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Some companies have better mottos and ethics, the way the companies you mentioned or Daily Harvest does. I mean, these are people who they're not paying me. I don't know them.
Yeah.
I just think it's real cool to be able to drink a smoothie that has everything you need in it and it comes as real food. Like, that's badass. So because I'm so lazy, I'm not going to go do that myself and cut it up. Like, what am I cutting food? What am I, a peasant?
I love it. Oh my God. I now have the seat in my car is the peasant seat because you have to use the little lever to move it up and but the driver's side has the little buttons on the side.
Oh, that's funny.
One of the cars that I test drove, it didn't have the buttons on the side of the seat. And I was like, what am I, a peasant? I'm not buying this car.
No, Mama has a podcast, don't you know?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, people are going to do what they want to do. They're going to do pouch resets. They're going to do, whatever they can do, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, because we're always striving to be normal in this society. Yeah. And I mean, everybody's normal in their own way.
Well, and if they did the research, to find out, really the average, size for a woman is between a 10 and a 12. We're in the double digits. And even wasn't Marilyn Monroe a 12 too? Just
14.
A 14.
Okay.
Yeah, she had hips. It's we're made to have hips. We're not made to have that straight figure. Some people have that figure, but most of the time you don't, because when you have kids, your hips come out. And so that's why they're called was it
childbearing hips?
Yeah, childbearing hips.
Yeah. What I found fantastic. Cecily Strong from Saturday Night Live wrote a book over the pandemic. It's beautiful. It's about her little cousin died, and it was very sad, but it was her journey through that grief. It's a beautiful book.
Okay.
So I started following her on social media, and I just love her. And she just got nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
And she was on the Emmys. She posted the photos of her in her dresses for the Emmys and the glam squad and all that torture we do to ourselves. But she said on it was so sweet. She said, thank you to such and such, all the stylists, for making a size 12 girl feel great.
Nice.
And to look at her, you'd go, wow, I shit all over myself if I was a size 12. And look at how she looks. And again, it's not comparing myself to her. It's going, wow, I probably looked from the neck down like that and hated myself. That was ridiculous. And again, who says that double digits are bad?
Right.
Who says anything above a 4 is horrible? It's so, I love that she put her size out there, and it was really beautiful. And there's obviously people who are well beyond that put themselves out there on social media in a beautiful way.
Definitely.
I'm like, boy, if I could only have felt good about myself at a 26.
That confidence.
Right? Yeah. Well, and I wish that people would be more honest with their sizes, because then you would be like, oh, I guess we are the same size as this person. I'm not going to try to starve myself now to look like them when I'm actually their size. But we're so caught up in our head, we can't see it. But if we got to hear it and see other people, because we watch other people way more than ourselves, we would be like, oh, they're 12. I'm a 12. We're good to go. This isn't, I don't have to be mean to myself.
Yep.
But I feel like it started, for pretty much once TV and advertising kind of started, that's when all of this diet culture went kind of bonkers, right? Because you had to experience that. And I know my mom, she didn't do diets, but she was real mean to herself in the mirror. And being a little girl watching that, and then some of it would trickle down to me because she didn't realize what she was saying was hurtful. The whole oh, you can't wear jeans, you're too big for jeans. Not real, because we used to wear sweatpants until 6th grade, and all because my mom believed they didn't make a size for me, but she didn't even look. So that was the problem.
Well, it's interesting because the people who invented jeans are the French. And the French are the only women who look good in jeans. They know how to work it. No, but jeans are literally the devil, because what jeans are, they're created to make you feel bad because they don't stretch. If they have no stretch in them, they're not in my house. Jeans, literally, it's either a muffin top or a camel toe. You have to make a choice.
Yep.
Because when you put those things on, you're going to have one or the other.
100%.
Camel top, which is a whole different thing. That gives you that high second vagina when you squeeze in your belly button fat.
I was going to ask, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
I knew exactly what you're talking about.
The term I invented that when you have to squeeze them on and then you have that second vagina up here.
Nice.
So, jeans are the devil. So I don't blame you or your mother for eschewing jeans. However, it's so funny how we didn't even have, if you didn't even have your mom mean to you, like it doesn't sound like you did. I didn't have my mother being mean to me about it. They were so mean to themselves, we couldn't help but overhear it and think that's what we need to do. Like my mother still, in her final years had, disliked the way she looked. And I'm like, oh my God, do I have to live 90 years like this? Just because she role modeled self-hate. And that to me is very sad, because I'm like, boy, I didn't look at her and think those things.
Right.
So it's a lot of that. And do you remember, you don't remember, this is way before you were born. There used to be a diet candy named AIDS. Did you know about this?
No.
Oh, they were famous. They were commercial on TV. Anyone over 50 will know what it is. They were delicious. They were little caramel or chocolate candies called AIDS, AIDS.
Okay.
Like AIDS candy. AIDS helps you lose weight. So fill in the punchline there.
Yep.
However, when disease AIDS came out, they went to that company and said, will you change your name because of the disease? And they said, no, we have the name first. Let the disease change its name. So they were insane too. So we were literally eating food this big to get you through a meal. One meal and a cup of coffee and a cigarette. That's like almost they always used to joke that the supermodel diet is 2 cigarettes and a cup of coffee. It's so crazy, but we do it, or did it in the past. We've all done crazy stuff. I went to a place called, my first diet ever was in college. It was called the Diet Center. And I think they're closed down, I hope, because it was 500 calories a day.
Ooh, that's low.
And you had to go in every single day, 7 days a week, and get weighed. So think about this at 5'8". I was 5'8.5" at the time. I got down to 109 pounds.
Ooh.
I was a size less than 2.
Holy shit.
And of course, it resulted in my first huge binge after that big restrict. And it was like, oh, my hair fell out and I got big boils under my arms that had to be lanced by a doctor because it was all this, I don't know, poison or whatever. I was like, oh, that's not right. Huge binge. And I said, I'll never diet that severely again. I was lucky enough it didn't result in full-blown anorexia. But I mean, that started the diet binge thing throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
And I hope they're out of business, because 500 calories, that's like literally crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's a thing.
That was like right after surgery type of thing, where you're only eating like a half an ounce a day or at a time.
Seriously.
Yeah. The one that I kept seeing on it was Pinterest when I would look through food, and it was when I was still researching everything for weight loss surgery. So, you put in weight loss surgery and then all these diets come up.
Of course.
And there's the military diet.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah. And so it's like for 7 days, they have very specific, like all you can eat is like a hard boiled egg and a piece of toast. And then for lunch, you have, it was very restricted. Let me see if I can find it actually.
I did it for a couple days.
Did you really?
I did. Really? And I was like, this is weird. Like, I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, because it had like cottage cheese, because it has like little protein in it and then a little bit of carbs. So at first you're like, this could be fine. But then you're like, no, like this is not sustainable, because it tells you not to do it more than 7 days. Like they are very honest about it, but you're like, what in the world are we doing? So
yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Okay. So the military diet is, so for breakfast, you have coffee or tea, grapefruit, piece of toast, peanut butter. Lunch is coffee, avocado, canned chickpeas, and a whole wheat toast. And then dinner is tofu, any style of preparation, green beans, banana, apple, dairy-free ice cream.
Oh, the tofu is what got me. I was like, not doing that. I'm going to have real meat. I love
Why
meat.
would you have dairy-free ice cream?
Yeah.
Unless you're lactose intolerant.
That's dairy-free ice cream. There was this thing years ago. I forget what it was called. Ice milk. Have you ever heard of ice milk?
I have. I've never seen it though.
Old school. It's like if Halo Top was even worse. Literally garbage. But it's almost like, okay, if you wanted to eat dessert without actually enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could eat a crap ton of it, but still you just ended up with a frozen tongue. It was awful, but it was this way of depriving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I think the whole problem is with diets, it's like you can eat a whole pint of Halo Top or a gallon of ice milk back in the day, and you wouldn't gain weight. But there was zero enjoyment. So how about a small amount of Haagen-Dazs, like a quarter of one serving? The problem is, though, with people like us and me, I couldn't regulate the volume because I was trying to fill the internal hole.
Right.
And the internal hole does not get filled. And by the way, don't worry, it doesn't get better. I asked my life coach yesterday, I was like, what's going to fill the hole?
Nothing.
Fill the hole. And she goes, I think you have a few things. I said, shut up. What's going to fill the hole? And it was like, at that moment, now it was kind of spiritual. My dog started barking and I could cry right now because she goes, I think you just got a little reminder of two things that fill the hole in a healthy way. And I'm like, she goes, they felt they had to speak up. And I was like, either that or they want to kill my lawn guys. But was this reminder that there is stuff that fills that internal hole other than food?
Yeah.
But trust me, it's like I'm hard fighting to find all those things because it's going to take a lifetime of replacing food after being deprived of it for so long. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. It's really hard to, it's hard to fill that space, that hole that you have internally. I mean, the last 8 months, that's what I've been doing is I've been taking these foods and using them as a crutch again because internally I'm going through a lot of emotions and I don't generally show them very easily out. Right. And so my way of coping or using as a crutch is to eat certain foods that I know I don't need.
Yeah.
I think that's better. I noticed that you said don't need instead of bad.
I don't
like
need
that.
them.
I like that.
Like Oreos. I don't need Oreos.
Yeah.
I do. That's where we differ.
I wish I could have Oreos all day, every day, but I don't need them in my life.
I know, but it's funny I don't probably need a lot, but there's, when the minimalists talk about this, they go, if something doesn't add use or beauty or both, which is a great time. Like say you have a beautiful teapot that you're just like, oh my God, it's useful too.
Yeah.
Use and beauty are two great reasons to not get rid of something. So let me just grab some random shit. Okay. My bitchin' ass Cobra Kai mug.
Oh, yes.
Strike hard, no mercy. That adds beauty, goddammit.
Yes, it does.
So I get to keep it. Does it add use? Yes, it holds these lovely pens, including this super cute pencil that my grandmother made for me when she was in the nursing home. So I keep that out of joy.
Oh, that's adorable.
Isn't that cute? So when it comes to food, we go, okay, use, yes, that's all our protein, our water, our whatever, that vitamins, those damn vitamins. You'd be so proud of me. I've kept on my good vitamin program for 3 months because I had fallen off the wagon of those. But the beauty part of the food is the, whatever it is, the Oreo or the little Hershey's miniatures or whatever it is.
Okay.
So it's almost that balance of like, I'm allowed some beauty in my life. And for me, that beautiful thing is a type of food as part of my life because food adds to our lives. I mean, it's delicious. French pastries if that's your thing, or rainbow cookies if you're Italian and they bring back memories for you. So I think with us, it's always going to be balance. And that's the hard part.
It really is. When I was doing the research of trying to figure out, like, how do you combat diet culture? Because, like, that's kind of like, how do we get ourselves to stop saying good and bad, being negative, and like picking ourselves apart? They really said, like, so it's funny that you talked about sleep, because sleep was actually number 2 on the list of things that you should prioritize.
Oh,
because like when you get a full night's sleep, then your body's not craving all the things that like you consider not to be good for yourself. So if you can get that sleep, then you'll actually like, I don't know, just like kind of resets your mind of what you should have.
No, you're right. You're right. We make much better decisions on a full night's sleep. They have this saying in 12-step programs, HALT, which means don't make any decisions if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
Yep.
So tired's in there. And hungry is a big thing too. If I'm starving, I'm not going to be that nice on the phone. I'm going to be like, dude, like yesterday, I had the lawn guys over and I was about to put some food in my mouth. I was starving after something. I usually don't let myself get really hungry, but it was like a couple podcasts in a row. I was like, oh, damn. So he goes, I'm ready for you to come out and look at the yard now, like to approve everything and give him his money. And I go, give me 10 minutes. Because I was like, if I don't have at least 2 bites of something and chew it and not have a headache, he's going to end up getting picked on by me.
Right.
I'll end up finding every leaf that you didn't freaking mow. You know what I mean? So I kind of saved him. And save myself from having that headache. So it's all that hungry, angry, lonely, tired stuff.
Yeah. It says right here, like it's from brain fog and making it difficult to concentrate to how we make our decisions. So healthy sleep routine can boost your immunity, mental well-being, and make your sex drive go up. So
that could work for me, man. I haven't had any feeling below the waist in 7 years. So who knows?
Oh my God. Get some more sleep, Lisa. Then you're going to get some.
To get her groove on. Well, I just found something. I was looking for something on the computer because I said, I will be letting you down so much if I don't tell you. When I was writing my show, I made a list of all the diets that we thought were funny to mention in the show.
Yeah.
So I actually found it while we were talking.
Oh, cool.
Just bang through it really quick.
Hell yeah.
And it's written like a play, so there will be some punchlines and I will take some liberties. So let me see. Okay.
Yes.
The paleo diet, pescatarian diet, vegan diet, raw vegan diet, herbal life, slim fast, which is, by the way, more like slim chance. I lost 20 pounds, gained 40. There's the tasty delight diet, more neither tasty nor delightful, 10-day juice cleanse. And on the 8th day, the counselor's like, eat an orange, you'll get through. Yeah, great advice. The Atkins diet. I personally never got to day 2 of Atkins diet. That is only bacon dipped in cheese while fisting a loaf of Wonder Bread diet. The lattes only diet, the no food except coffee diet, the no food after 8, no food after 5, which is also known as intermittent bullshit fasting. The dinner by 5, purge by 8 diets from the bulimic center of the audience, the square of cheese before bed diet, the cotton ball diet, which we talked about, only grapefruits, only soup, only salad with mustard, only mustard, Nutrisystem. And of course, that is the box food that is promoted by Marie Osmond, who, God love her, but I think she's a liar. Weight Watchers. And of course, we've got the high carb, low carb, no carb, and carb. I think we can all agree as a final parting note of diets is the real C word, because carb seems to be the most evil word in the English language. So I am going to reclaim it like I have the other C word and say carb is my favorite word on the planet.
Yes.
So like a tiny sliver of all the diets out there. How insane.
That is crazy. That is a crazy, crazy list.
Seriously.
Right. I just feel sorry for us in a way.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for us that we had to become victim to that and have it pushed on us as so normal.
Yeah.
And again, do I feel sorry for people who had beer and booze pushed on them as like, you have to try this or you won't have any fun? Yes, I feel sorry for them too. So pretty much we're all the victims of advertising and you're no good without this item or
Right.
this diet or this substance.
Mhm.
So, I think we should all just say, hey, they've failed us, and how can we make our own decisions now ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And one of the things too that I was reading was the whole, like, just talking about the health wise, like, let's not talk about the food, like, let's talk about how it makes you feel. Because if it gives you the energy and makes you feel good, then you should eat that.
Mhm.
So it's like it's called intuitive eating because of kids. We've been born that way. Like if you're hungry, you feel it, you own it, and then you go get the food. It makes you feel better.
Yep.
Like learning to listen to your body and knowing what it makes you feel hungry. Because like everybody's different. Like mine is, it used to be like in my throat. I would feel it after surgery of being hungry. I'd have like those little like bubbles or whatever. And then you have kind of the same thing, don't you?
I can feel my stomach being empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I can feel that it's empty and I need to fill it, or I get very cranky. Like the other day, so I moved into my rental, a month and a half ago. And it came with a fridge, obviously. And I fucking hate this fridge. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I've never hated a fridge as much as I hate this one. I've never hated a fridge as like,
yeah,
but
I was going to say, what could it possibly be that you would hate about it?
It personally attacks me every single day. Like, it makes this rattling noise, which I don't like rattling. When something's like rattling in your car when you're driving down the road, like I cannot, I will
focus.
Like stop and try to figure out where it's coming from because it drives me crazy. So it does its rattle and then it never makes ice. And then when it does, it clogs. The water spout is in the weirdest spot ever.
It's true.
Like,
I make a mess every time I try to get water.
It's so fucking weird. And it's so tiny that like I'm like trying to like shove everything into like it's stupid. The whole fridge just needs to die a horrible death. And so I had this the other day, I was battling with the fridge again and I'm like yelling at it. I'm like, I hate you. I hate you so much. I left and I went and bought another fridge. It's being delivered today.
Do you know what? I was going to suggest that to you because I think sometimes we operate from scarcity.
Right.
And we say, well, it came with the rental. So, I'm going to just fucking put up with it because God forbid I hold on to every dollar. And it's not even about the money. It's about like, God forbid we need the money for something else. And I'm so glad I was going to
Hey man, I've grown up poor. I'm so scared of being poor.
I know, but everything she's saying is you.
But I hold on to everything.
No, it's okay. And that's you came by that honestly. Like growing up in any type of poverty or any type of scarcity, I get it. Yeah. Because I did too. I didn't grow up in poverty. I mean, I did too have that mindset from Depression era parents.
Right.
But yeah. And sometimes, like I find the same thing. I take a lot of leftovers home because of eating out. And I literally went through all my leftovers today. And I was like, because what I'll do is I'll take it home. I never eat it. And because I don't want the same thing twice. Yep. I mean, I sometimes do, but I'm like, okay. And I go, what can I chop up for the dogs? Because they love chicken, they love steak. And I never shortchange myself at a restaurant. I always get a 3-course meal and have a couple bites of each.
Oh, so there you go.
Today I took these chicken wings that had no sauce on it. I go, they're going to go insane over these things. But I'm ripping it off the bone and my hands start to hurt. And I go, do you realize, like I just noticed, I go, you realize out of scarcity and not wanting to waste this, you're hurting your hands.
Yep.
And I go, just slow down, go slower, it won't hurt. But isn't that interesting how we have to recognize that the scarcity, it's fine if we have that mindset, but when it starts to hurt us in ways of like a cluttered house or a refrigerator with food, too much food in it, we go, we have to work on that part. But about the refrigerator, I'm thrilled that you did that because a noisy refrigerator is just the worst.
It is.
What's funny is when you said the water and the ice thing, I started laughing in my head because I, as you know, took over my parents' house. The refrigerator's old as F. It's perfect. It has no ice maker or water thing because it's from years ago when they didn't do that yet.
Yep.
And I'm like, here I am with ice trays. 1,000 ice trays in there, and I love it. And I cracked up going, maybe you should just be grateful that you have water, bitch. I don't.
Yes.
I don't have any water. There are ice cubes flying out. Your gratitude problem is your problem. And I'm like, oh, she bought a new fridge. Good on you.
Lisa, would you like me to send you my old fridge?
Ship it over. No, but it's so funny because one man's problem is another man's. Wow, this is great. Which is, by the way, when we can talk about scarcity mindset at some point. Why decluttering feels eventually so good because every time I put something in the bag for Goodwill, I'm like, oh my God, somebody's gonna love this so much.
Aww.
Like, oh, it's weird because you go, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody, like, by the way, I knew, my lawn guys were overcharging me out the ass yesterday. I just knew it in my head. And part of me went, the scarcity mindset would make me get 5 other quotes. Let me say, I just gave 5 men who are not from this country and don't have an easy time, and I have a much easier time, take the little extra dough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So isn't it funny though how, so we don't want to be taken advantage of. But it's that whole balance, like with the food, everything is balanced.
Well, so the other day, my boyfriend's girls and I, we really wanted ice cream. So we made him take us to Dairy Queen. And so we go in and we order our food and we ordered the blizzards. And which, by the way, the animal cookie blizzard is outstanding.
I've never even had it.
Outstanding. And their mini size is perfect.
It is. That's what I get.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah. So, but anyway, so we're standing there and we hear screaming, like yelling. And I was just like, what the fuck? So I'm like looking around. Some guy was so pissed off about his chicken strips. Something happened with those chicken strips. He was trying to climb through the drive-through window. Yeah. Whoa. And was screaming at this poor girl that I'm guessing she's like her first manager job. And she comes and then this girl was like filming it off like another customer. And he starts screaming at her to mind her own goddamn business and blah, 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 blah. So anyways, so this girl, like this manager, poor girl has to deal with this, runs back to the office and is just bawling. And I was just like, people are assholes. Yeah. Like, was that necessary?
Well, here are 2 things. Having been him and having been her, because I have been both, yelling comes from a lot of pain.
Yeah.
There's something going on. So when somebody yells at someone, yes, it's horrible. It should never happen. I should have never yelled at anyone in my whole life. You know, I had a role model to me from my mother. That's how you dealt with problems. I got the job done. And obviously I made a great living from play acting that on stage as a comic. So that's a nice controlled way to do it where you're just having fun. And also when it wasn't fun and you had to handle hecklers, you had that skill of like, get them out of here.
Yeah.
So it's a sad thing when especially men don't recognize the pain they're in and then go, oh my God, I almost committed murder because of this food situation.
Yeah.
So I wonder what's going on with him. So whenever I see anybody yelling now, first of all, I obviously am like, I love the idea of me stepping in and saving the person.
Right.
But I go, they must be going through some grief today.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Sarah Silverman had a really funny post years ago where she said, I just saw someone who yelled at my dad for taking too long. Her dad's in a wheelchair or infirm, getting out of a car. And all I have to say to you is, get over here. I have to give you a big hug. You must need
Sarah.
it. And I was like, I know he was joking, but the sentiment being, it is a very sad thing when you feel you have to lean on a horn at a guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know? So no excuse. Everyone needs to go to frickin' therapy. Like that guy needs to check himself in someplace. But yeah, the fun part of that story, the ice cream part, I will tell you. Here's my ice cream thing. Okay, I love a cone. Like I love the taste of the cone.
Okay.
With the ice cream in it. So, but the McDonald's size is too big. I think I've told you my sleeve is way too small. So this is me in the car. You guys are going to laugh so hard because I don't want them to see what I'm doing with the cone because it's basically molesting the cone. So I take the cone and I take a big napkin, a bunch of napkins, and take the whole thing off the top and throw it away because I'm like, I can't fit it and I will throw up.
Oh, true.
So then
true.
I eat the F out of that cone with the ice cream and I'm in freaking heaven. So all this to say, people, there's ways to do this and to enjoy what you can fit in there and to have fun with it. And you don't end up, I'm actually, it's better if I take my dogs with me because they can eat that ice cream instead of me throwing it away.
There you go.
Did I not just help the world of dogs out there? You're welcome.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Did you know that if you go to Dairy Queen on your dog's birthday, they'll give you a free ice cream?
What?
No, but I do now, and I'm lying and saying it's my dog's birthday.
I was gonna say, Dairy Queen's gonna have like a flood of people with their animals.
Yeah. Dairy Queen will give you free ice cream for your dog. Starbucks gives you puppuccinos.
Oh, I love the puppuccino moment.
Yep. It's
which, by the way, the puppuccino is an everyday occurrence. Like I didn't know it existed till I drove through like years ago, and some kind person goes, "Oh my God, your dog's so cute. Does he want a puppuccino?" And I'm like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
This is a cup of whipped cream with a biscuit in it.
Oh, okay.
My dogs are such disordered eaters that they don't like dog food. They just like the freaking whipped cream. Oh my God, it's the cutest thing ever.
Oh, I know. I used to take my dogs all the time. And Coda, like as soon as he saw that I turned into Starbucks, he knew what he was getting.
Oh my God.
Like, and
That's
he
amazing.
would start like going back and forth and like, oh, I get a puppuccino.
It's just like, it really makes your heart feel good that, oh my God, did that feel better than me binging on food? It was pretty close. Yep. It felt pretty damn good. So I know we're going to find these answers.
Right.
We'll probably talk next time about filling the hole in some way without sounding too dirty. I love that phrase. Fill the hole.
I love it. Fill the hole.
And I have not said that's what she said once, except for right now.
There you go. So I think this is good. I think we're all just going to find the balance. I hope people can listen to this with a good sense of humor and a good, and get a few good things out of it. Cause we're all just trying and we're all just dented cans trying to bang the dents out.
Oh, yes, I like that. I like that.
That's perfect.
Do you want to tell everybody about your podcast?
Oh my God, dude. See, this is how selfless I am as a person. I forget about Lisa, but I don't really. I do have a podcast that I love. It's called Losers with a Dream. It is with two straight guy comic friends of mine in their 30s who literally get it, who get how to talk about emotional issues, how to just talk about feelings and their struggles in a funny way, but also a very vulnerable way. And I kind of take the opportunity on every show to make fun of them just a little, but then help them. So listen to us on all the different platforms. Losers with a Dream, starring Lisa Lampanelli.
That's right. 'Cause that'll all be tagged in the description because I listen and I love it. I love it.
It's great. It's so good.
Yes.
I do like it. I like to hear the fact of like the dude side. Like I've been, when we talk to our guys for weight loss surgery, I'm like prying, I'm asking all these detailed questions, trying to get them to tell me, like what's really going on in there. And some of them really divulge and I'm like, yes, thank you for telling us. Cause it's such a breath of fresh air to to hear it from men in their 30s. I'm raising a 15-year-old and I'm trying to teach these things. And my husband's 38 and he does the same thing. Like we all talk about our feelings, but when you get outside the house, I'm like, most guys don't ever talk about it. And I'm like, I know you have it in you because I have a kid and I know that he has feelings. So tell me. So it's just amazing to see.
I think there's non-toxic men out there. And I think men get a real bad rap, especially lately. And I get that.
Yeah.
But there are some non-bro-y guys.
Right.
And I love that I do a podcast with two guys who literally I've never had to say, don't be bro-y. And one's a personal trainer. So it's like he's around bro culture all the time. And I'm like, man, I'm really proud of them. And it's funny. It's just I don't know if I'll ever have a calling again, but it's a really fun hobby and a fun way to get out there that, men actually have feelings and can be cool with that.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was our episode on
diet
culture, which is, it's just a clusterfuck. So
it really is. If you guys want to watch the video, because we have a video this time.
Yes.
Go to YouTube, go to our page, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notified because we have more coming your way.
Yes, we do. And if you guys didn't know, we have a support group called The Benchies.
Yeah.
And it is on Facebook Messenger. They talk all day long. We talk with them. We give advice. They give advice to each other. It's a fantastic group. So if you'd like to join that, go over to patreon.com/OSLP. And you just need to do the $7 or higher tier. And you get all of the Benchy support.
That's right. And all the benefits that come with it.
Exactly.
And I guess I want to say 2 final things, which I guess my invitation got lost in the mail. But I would like to thank my naturopath for everything done. I'd like to thank all the diets that put me on the road to the beautiful creature I am today.
Yes.
Without that plethora of things I've done as missteps, I wouldn't be the beautiful person I am.
That's right.
And I'd really like to thank all the gluten I've ever eaten because it makes me fucking happy.
Yes.
Eat all the gluten, unless you're celiac. And then don't
do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You'll be a little smelly. Don't do it.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Lisa, for being on. And
I love you guys.
we will see you guys
Next time. Bye.